Hello, my name is Rachel Covington, and I'm a genetic counselor here at the West Cancer Center. Your physician has identified you as someone who may be appropriate for genetic testing, so I'd like to provide you some introductory information on this brief video about genetics. At the end of the video, you can decide if you would like to move forward with genetic testing, and will have the opportunity to ask your physician any questions you may have. In order to discuss genetic testing, it is helpful to discuss what genes are and how changes in our genes may impact our risk for cancer. Genes are segments of our DNA that provide specific instructions for our body. Some of these genes protect us from cancer. When one of these genes is not working due to a misspelling in the DNA, individuals can be at an increased risk for cancer. These misspellings, also called mutations, can be passed down to other family members. Having a mutation does not mean that you will get cancer or get cancer again, but it may mean that you're at a higher risk than someone who does not carry a gene mutation. Genetic testing can help us identify if there are mutations in your genes by testing a small sample of your blood. Cancer risk can be divided into three main categories. The vast majority of cancers are what we call sporadic, meaning that they most likely occurred by chance and we do not see them cluster in families. A smaller proportion of cancers are familial, meaning we can see several members of a family with a similar or the same types of cancer, but we cannot identify a genetic cause through testing. The third category is also the smallest, hereditary. Individuals with a hereditary cause for their cancer have a gene mutation we can identify on testing. This third category is the one we will be discussing. Family history is very important to learn more about your cancer risk. In genetics, we look for certain red flags in a family that may indicate a genetic condition. These include cancer at young ages, for example, under 50 years of age for breast and colon cancer, cancer in paired organs, for example, two separate cancers in both breast or both ovaries, rare types of cancer. These would include ovarian, fallopian tube, and primary peritoneal cancers, multiple family members with similar cancers, and multiple cancers in one person, such as a woman with breast and ovarian cancer. The most common gene mutations for patients that have been diagnosed with ovarian cancer are known as BRCA1 and BRCA2. Approximately 15% of patients with invasive ovarian cancer will carry a mutation in one of these BRCA genes. This risk may be higher if you have a family history of ovarian cancer or other cancers such as breast. 44% of individuals who carry a BRCA mutation and who have had ovarian cancer will not have a family history of breast or ovarian cancer. For this reason, current guidelines recommend BRCA genetic testing for all patients with ovarian cancer, regardless of family history or age at diagnosis. This information may not only impact you, but your family as well. Since gene mutations can be passed on, your loved ones may be at an increased risk for cancer. Typically, first-degree relatives such as children and siblings are at a 50% risk to carry a gene mutation if you were to test positive. If your test results find a gene mutation, myself or a colleague will walk you through how to share this information with your family members, and they are also encouraged to meet with a genetic counselor as well. BRCA1 and 2 are not the only genes associated with ovarian cancer. About 5 to 6% of ovarian cancers will have mutations in genes outside of BRCA1 and 2. You also have the opportunity to get 23 other genes tested if your BRCA status comes back negative. If gene mutations are identified in one of these other genes, it may provide a more complete picture of your future cancer risk and may help determine other management considerations. And just like with your BRCA status, it will provide you with valuable information for your family members. The most common questions about genetic testing involve insurance, privacy, cost, and test results. This first slide will discuss insurance coverage and privacy. GINA and HIPAA are two federal laws that protect your genetic information. Because of these laws, you cannot be denied health insurance or employment based on your genetic test result. Most states have their own laws with similar or greater protection. Although each case is unique, most insurance providers have excellent genetic testing coverage. 97% of patients with ovarian cancer receive insurance coverage with an average out-of-pocket cost of $28. Most patients have no out-of-pocket cost, including patients with Medicare and Medicaid. The testing lab will call you to inform you of any out-of-pocket cost and get your permission before proceeding with testing. If you have Cigna, you must meet formally with a genetic counselor before having testing due to insurance guidelines. Your doctor can arrange this. There are 3 possible test results we can get from genetic testing. One is positive. This means we have identified a gene mutation that may be responsible for your cancer. If this happens, you will have the option to meet formally with a counselor to discuss your results in more detail. You are welcome to bring family members to this meeting. The second test result is negative. This means that we have not identified a mutation in the genes that were tested. You cannot pass on a mutation in these genes to your children because you do not have them. However, we have not been able to explain your history of cancer through the test, so relatives may still be at an increased risk for ovarian cancer and are encouraged to discuss this with their doctors. The last test result is an uncertain result. This means that we have found a change in one or more of your genes that we do not currently have information about. It could either be a benign change and harmless, or it could be a mutation and may increase your risk for cancer. An uncertain result does not mean that your genes are uncertain. It means that the testing lab has not studied this particular change enough to make a call. Uncertain results are continuously studied by the lab, and if any new information becomes available, you will be contacted. Thank you for watching this video. This can be a lot of information to absorb, so please do not hesitate to ask your physician or counselor any questions that you may have. Your doctor and his or her staff can walk you through the testing process in their office today. Should you choose to submit your test today, myself or a colleague will call you to discuss your results when they become available, typically in about 4 weeks. So please make sure you give them a good contact number for us to reach you. Please feel free to write down my contact information if you have any questions. Thank you very much.